Assalamu alaikum. This is Al-Hayaza, the Vice President of the Dermatology Student Club. I hope you are well and staying safe. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest for today is Dr. Ghada Al-Hayaza. She is R1 in Joint Program at Central Region. We have received your questions prior to this time and we're going to answer it at the end of the lecture. So if you have any other question, please type it down below in the chat box. Doctor, can you please start?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Can you hear me very well?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yara, and good afternoon to you all. I'm Ghada Al-Hayaza. I'll be starting R1 Dermatology Joint Program next month, inshallah. I would like to first thank the Derm Club for inviting me to give this talk, and a special thank you to Dr. Lamatouil. I'll be talking today at Elective Hacks 101. Sorry, one second. Okay. So we'll go over the objectives, what is an elective, when to take an elective, choosing the hospital, and making the best out of your elective. Now, medical electives, there are multiple ways to define a medical elective. It is mainly a period, usually a 4-week rotation, spent away from your medical school affiliated hospital. It is your chance to hone your clinical skills and make connections with people in your potential residency home and chosen specialty. To re-emphasize, it's your chance to explore the specialty and the hospital, hone and sharpen your clinical skills, leave an impression, and make connections. So to be more thorough and technical, this is the definition of a medical elective. So the idea is clear. An elective is a placement undertaken as a part of a medical degree. The content and setting of the placement are largely decided by the student undertaking it, with some students choosing to spend it in a different country. So now when to take an elective, you either take it in medical school or an internship. In medical school, summer electives in the specialties you lean towards are very important, as it would help you make your mind up regarding that specialty and therefore make it easier for you to plan your internship and fill your CV to show interest as well. Now, to talk more about medical school summer electives, you need to first, as a medical student, identify your interest. Is it surgical, is it medical, or is it an overlap of both? Then identify your lifestyle preference. Then make a list of the possible specialties and get summer electives accordingly. So as a medical student, during these summer electives, you don't have a final to worry about. So you experience the specialty very thoroughly and with a relaxed mindset. You can follow the resident and see how they learn and how they go about their daily tasks and manage studying as well. And follow the consultant to see how the consultant manages the field. Remember that residency is temporary, and in almost all specialties, it will be hectic. You will have a huge burden of both workload and studying to do. Always look at the lifestyle of the consultant and decide if it suits you. Also, a lot of people care about their lifestyle as a resident, and there's nothing wrong with that, to be very honest, because these are 4 or 5 years that are important. But it's part of the journey, and it is not permanent. Life after residency is permanent. So remember that when you try to choose a specialty and to take a summer elective in that specialty. Now we'll go to internship electives. I will tell you that there will always be people around you that know their future specialty from day 1 of medical school. It is okay not to know, and more importantly, it is okay to change your mind. You are, as a student or an intern, at a stage of your life where you're exploring your interests and the field of medicine and finding out where they meet. Residency programs expect a lot from you when you get matched and during the interview as well. So you have to plan your internship clearly and make sure that when you change your mind and choose a specialty, you can fill your CV with related research, conferences, and workshops. Don't be careless because you don't know what specialty you want. So remember again, I'll re-emphasize this because it is very, very important. It is okay to be unsure about your interest when you start your internship, and it is okay to change your mind. It is not okay to be unready for the change and not okay to be careless. Remember to be open-minded, be ready to learn, and be punctual. Now, how to plan your internship electives and what to consider in these electives. 4 things to consider that are the most important before you put your internship schedule. So consider your SMLE dates, know the residency application timeline, your top 2 specialties, or even if it's more than top 2, but try to leave it around 3 top specialties, and the golden months. Now for the SMLE dates, by knowing when exactly you will book your exam, you can make sure you start studying early and that the month of your exam is preferably not one of your top specialties. When it's not one of your top specialty choices, it's a specialty that is less demanding, so you can have more time to study. And by guaranteeing a high SMLE score, you can safely explore your top specialties and not have the points as a barrier. So if you have the SMLE score, no barrier to getting the specialty you desire. I personally advise the 2 months between each try method. For example, if you start studying at the end of your senior year or beginning of summer, you start your internship, let's say July, take your first exam end of August. End of the month will allow you to actually explore the questions that were given during that month, and it will give you more time to study. Then take the second one, October. So you will have November and, you will have September and October to actually study. Then again, November as a break, then December for your exam. And try to take your electives in, for example, September, November, the months that are not exam months. Now next, know the residency application timeline. Usually they announce at the beginning of the year around September. So make sure that you check it as soon as it comes out so you don't run out of time. Usually the applications are in January and interviews are in March. Your top 2 specialties, for example, if your top 2 specialties are either medicine and dermatology, make sure you explore them early, you give them all the attention they need so you can decide which one is your first choice. And if you don't get your first choice, you get your second choice, it's still good, and the department still knows you, and you will get a good hospital. Now, lastly, the golden months are January, February, and March. So to talk more about the golden months, we said January, February, and March. These are the months before or during the interviews. It is the months when the consultants in your desired specialty and center get to know you very well. You can get recommendation letters and guarantee the second month, which is the interview. During the golden months, or to be very honest, during your internship overall or any elective, be punctual, be engaging, and show willingness to learn. Showing willingness to learn is always better than being a know-it-all person. Also, an important point is if you know it is a vacation month, for example, January, maybe because there is the between 2 semester vacation in January, maybe it's not a good idea to rotate in the specialty you want, as most consultants are on leave, so keep that in mind. Maybe you will not meet the entire department or the consultants. Now, internship schedule depends on your university, but usually you can get a maximum of 3 months in dermatology specifically. 1 month can be considered as your elective that you can take in any specialty, 1 month as your medical selective, and 1 month as medicine. Some universities require both months of medicine to be in general medicine, so you can get 2 months derma, which are enough, honestly. You don't need more than that. Now the hospital. So you decided your top 2 specialties, and now you want to decide on the hospital. The hospital depends on the residency program you want. So I will now talk about dermatology in Riyadh, but the same concept can apply to dermatology in other cities or any other program. In dermatology in Riyadh, there are these 2 programs, the joint program and the King Saud University program. The joint program has Prince Sultan Military Medical City, King Faisal Specialist Hospital, King Fahad Medical City, National Guard Hospital, King Saud Medical City, which is Shmasi, Security Forces, and King Salman Hospital. Your first year in the program, you spend it in your sponsoring hospital, which is one of the mentioned above hospitals. And you spend it in various specialties, as in you spend a few months in medicine, few months in pediatrics, 1 in ER, elective, research, plastic surgery. That's your entire first year of dermatology, whether in the joint or the KSU program. Now, years 2 to 4, you rotate every 3 months in a hospital. Now you're in the dermatology department, and it's in, you rotate between the mentioned above hospitals. Now, when you want to do your elective, do it in the hospital you want to target as a sponsor. Because after you got, inshallah, matched the first match into dermatology, and for example, the joint interview, they liked you and they accepted you in the joint program, you still need one of the hospitals to sponsor you. And they will sponsor you when they know you. They will not pick you if they've never seen you work, they've never seen you in the department. So, for example, you want whichever hospital, say PSMMC or KFSH, as a sponsor. Do a month there, prove yourself, so they choose you. Now, the King Saud University program, all 4 years are spent in King Khalid University Hospital. Same thing, first year is in various specialties. Then R2 to R4, you spend it in dermatology. In R3 and R4, you're allowed 3 months external rotations where you go to KFSH or National Guard. Now we'll go over the highlights of the program. So the joint program, we said every 3 months you start in a new hospital. So it's a nice change between different hospitals and you get an exposure to various hospitals, a lot of consultants to learn from. In the KSU program, you have stability. You're in the same hospital for the entire program and you have stronger connections with the department. You're spending your entire residency with the same consultants, the same department, so you build a stronger connection. So now we secured your elective and you are starting, for example, the next week, the weekend before starting your elective. What are the resources you need to check? I advise online method. Online method videos are very short. They are very practical and to the point. So you have the very common dermatology diseases. You can watch the videos quickly and have an overview, or get a quick review of the most common diseases from whichever resource you personally prefer. There is a website. It's called DermNet. It's a quick website that you can check when a patient is presenting with a disease you don't know. So this is the link to the website. You can have it open on your phone, check it in the clinic when a patient presents with a disease you've never heard of before or you've never seen. But make sure that when you do so, you don't check your phone when the patient is in the room or the consultant is talking to the patient, because it's less respectful to both of them. Try to check it in that time when there is no patient or the doctor is busy, so you read it, or just read it at home. The next resource is AMBOSS. I don't know if you've used it in medical school, but it's important for your SMLE and important as a quick review. It gives you the important information about the disease overall. But sometimes it does not have all dermatology diseases compared to DermNet. Lastly, up to date, it's the more extensive. It has all the information. It's important when you're preparing a presentation or a talk. Now, making the best out of your elective. Your goal is to leave a good impression. Be professional and polite with everyone. With everyone, I mean department staff, nursing staff, medical students, interns, residents, consultants, every single one. Remember that residents and other consultants' opinion matter to the program director's decision. So always be professional to everyone. Dress professionally, for example, no need for scrubs on clinic days, and be on time or be early. It's your future. You don't want to be late to clinics or to anything you need to do during your elective. Now take initiative. So you're starting elective, you've served for a few days, ask to run a clinic. Always be proactive and take initiative. Always wear your gloves and examine the patient. Don't wait for the doctor to tell you, wear your glove and come see this case. No, always be ready. If you wear your gloves and stand there. You get a chance, examine the patient. Don't be an obstacle or a bystander, but show interest. Ask for a topic to present during the morning meeting. Asking for a topic to present during the morning meeting guarantees that you introduce yourself to the entire department. So everyone knows you when you come back later or during the interviews, or even when you start working with them. Everyone would remember you as an intern or as a medical student when you actually came interested and gave a talk. Now, try to not have your assembly during your elective to limit your excuses to leave early. And you can make changes to the schedule. Don't stick to the schedule, but also ask for permission to do so. When you do make changes, attend with different consultants, explore the field, and learn from a variety of doctors. Ask for recommendations and reference letters. Never be shy to ask for them. It is your right, and when the doctor knows you, they will never say no to it. Never be shy, always ask. And hunt for a research opportunity. A case presented today, you know it's something very rare and it's case report worthy. Take initiative, ask to write a case report about it. No one's gonna say no. And even if you don't want a case report, you want to full research, ask around, see what research is going on, and guarantee your opportunities. So lastly, here are the contact information to secure electives in dermatology in Riyadh. Feel free to take a picture. I try to make your life easier to know who to contact, unless your university is affiliated with that hospital, and they will contact the hospital directly to guarantee elective seat. And this is it. We will go for questions now. Please feel free to ask any question you want, and we will discuss it.
Thank you, Doctor, for your time. We will move to the questions. So, first question says, how do we know what is the facilities or hospitals offer elective and summary training?
Okay, almost all hospitals, it depends on your city, but almost all hospitals allow electives for both medical students and interns. The procedures differ based on the affiliation because universities have specific affiliations. The affiliation would help you to secure the seat easier and faster and for free. But even if your university is not affiliated with a hospital, you can always apply to the academic office or contact the secretary of the department to secure a seat. During medical school, choose a month during the summer, but don't apply, for example, a month ahead. Try to plan early. For example, you're planning for the summer, apply from April. To guarantee the seat. And for your internship as well, try to apply early, not because dermatology specifically, they only allow very limited number of seats. So you need to plan early and apply. But almost every hospital is a teaching hospital and allows students and interns to rotate.
Okay, this question says, Dr. Ghada, what made you choose dermatology?
Okay, so honestly, for me, I did not decide on dermatology from the beginning or know that I want dermatology. I knew it was an option, so I tried it. Unfortunately, I could not take a medical elective during medical school. So I took it during an internship because I knew I wanted something a bit surgical, but not too surgical. So I used the steps I showed you. That first, do you want medical, surgical, or an overlap of both? I wanted an overlap of both, but more medicine than it is surgery. After knowing that about myself, I tried the specialty. I tried the clinic. I saw how the clinic works. It's not a boring routine. It's not the same cases coming again and again. Every patient is a new story. It's a new presentation. And we treat them differently. So not everyone, you give them medication and that's it. You take someone to a procedure room, the next patient to the laser room. So the clinic is more active than other specialties. I felt that it suits me, and it's also a challenge because dermatology is very new. We did not study dermatology that well in medical school. Every medical school in the entire world teaches dermatology very briefly. It's more of a subspecialty. So it's a challenge I decided to take, and I felt like it suits my personality.
Perfect. There is a question said, can I take an elective in Riyadh if I studied in Jeddah?
Yes, of course. Wherever you are studying, you can take an elective here, so during your internship or during your medical school. You're welcome in every single hospital in Riyadh. I've encountered people from every city in Saudi.
Okay, there is a question says, what is a sponsor and how we get it?
So a sponsor is technically the hospital that takes care of you, meaning they give you your salary and the director of that hospital is your director. For example, in the joint program, you have, I told you about 6 hospitals. You rotate every 3 months in one of these hospitals, but you have a director of the entire joint program and a director in each hospital. So when you're, for example, I'm sponsored by Al-Askari, Prince Sultan Military Medical City. So my director is the director in Prince Sultan Military Medical City. I go back to them in everything. I sign my contract with them. They're responsible for my entire residency program. You sponsor, before it used to matter a bit, as based on your sponsoring hospital, you get more opportunities after your residency program. But now I believe it's very similar. It just depends, and even salaries are very similar. It just depends on the hospital you're more comfortable with, and if you want to be, for example, in KFMC, you are with the Ministry of Health. In PSMMC تابع لوزارة الدفاع and so on, but it's almost similar. When you go do a rotation in that hospital, you guarantee that they know you and they choose you to sponsor. I don't know if I answered your question fully, but if you have more details that you want, please feel free to ask.
It's clear, Doctor. Thank you. With this, we will end our meeting. I hope you are having fun. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. And here's my email. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time. I'll be happy to help.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.